The Clone Wars, Rebels. Star Wars, The Mandalorian. Greetings and welcome to Roman of the Empire. I am your host, Roman, and I am again joined by my co-host, Wendy. The Book of Boba Fett, Episode 6, From the Desert Comes a Stranger. This is written by Jon Favreau and directed by Dave Filoni, who has his fingers in pretty much everything Star Wars these days. And much like last week, there's no way to talk about this episode without spoilers. So, if you haven't seen it,
run away!
Leave the room now. I'll wait.
Well, if you're here, you're just too bad.
If you stayed, it's all on you at this point.
Not us.
So the episode was
wow.
There's an awful lot to unload and discuss from this episode. There was just a lot of stuff.
There was quite a bit.
So we start, and even just the start of the episode was awesome. We start the episode with the Pike Syndicate, the fish people, making a spice for credits exchange in the backwater town of Mos Plego. Plego?
Think so.
Plego. It's not really important. It's a backwater town.
It's a region.
We on Tatooine, home of Mos Eisley and Mos Espa, which are not. I wouldn't call them metropolises by any stretch, but Mos Pelgo is.
It's a ghost town in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, Old West, and if you'll remember, this is the town from the Mandalorian, which has the Marshal Cobb Vanth, who is played by Timothy Olyphant. Who I love Timothy Olyphant. He's one of those actors who pretty much whatever he's in, I'm going to watch it and enjoy it. He's from the series Justified, playing Raylan Givens, and from Deadwood, playing John Bullock.
Which is like a combo, the two characters. So
Yes, he kind of has a type.
He's typecast.
He's
definitely typecasted.
He's a marshal or a sheriff, and don't screw with his territory. So he's not digging the whole Pike spice thing going on. He gives them the chance to leave. He lets them know that this from here to here is my territory, and it's not your route anymore. He's willing to let them go with a warning. It's like when the cop pulls you over and says, go ahead, just don't do it again. And then you pull a gun on him. Which is what the Pikes do. And this isn't really surprising. It's a crime syndicate. They figure he's backwater bullshit and just not worth their time. Well, it doesn't go well for the Pikes. He's a quick draw.
Yeah, they do.
Just gun comes out, boom, boom, boom. Pikes are dead, except for
one guy.
The fellow who didn't draw.
Yep. One guy.
And the Marshal, being the kind-hearted soul that he is, tells him to take the credits, leave the spice as a fine, and go tell the syndicate not to use this territory. Give them the warning.
I like that he dumped the spice as well. He didn't keep it. He's
didn't keep it.
Back to the desert where it belongs.
And the Pike fella was like, he's like, leave the package. He's like, that's worth more than your entire town. Not nice, kind of a dick move, but
very true. Yeah.
Probably true. And so, the Marshal just takes the package once the Pike speeds off and kicks it over, and it just flows through the sand because he ain't having that shit.
No drugs in his town.
So again, I like this scene. It was cool. I didn't expect to see the Marshal, and I was as soon as he popped on the screen, it was like, yeah, it was exciting. So Now we go back to Mando, who I didn't think we were going to see this. So at the end of the last episode, he said he had to, he was going to go see a friend.
He did.
And you of course know who that is. And I didn't think we were going to get that yet, though. I thought this was going to take a couple other slow ass Boba Fett episodes to get to until we were going to see something exciting again. But
we're right there.
Just was very excited and happy to have that surprise. So, Mando's going to visit Grogu on the unnamed planet that Luke has taken him for training. And so he arrives, and as soon as Mando lands, he's greeted by
Beep, 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 beep.
R2-D2. And again, it was just, yes, it's nostalgia bait, but I don't mind so much.
Not either.
Not after the bullshit Boba Fett episodes that we've had, the last episode being the exclusion. I'm just happy to see these characters.
It was awesome.
So R2's there, and there's these big ant-like droids that are hauling rocks and building something which clearly is Jedi. Yeah. If you've seen Jedi stuff, you know what it looks like. It looks like this. When you watch the episode, go, yeah, that looks like a Jedi temple training, whatever. They all kind of have a look to them. But Luke and Grogu are not there. They are off training. So the Ant Fellas droids build a bench for Mando in kind of a funny exchange that they have. Mando is just kind of like, all right, I'll wait. Now, this is all fun stuff that we pick up with now. So we see Luke sitting in a very zen position, doing that Jedi shit, and Grogu is mirroring him. Grogu, as happens often with Grogu, gets distracted.
He is a baby.
And he likes to eat. And in particular,
frogs. We're really into frogs. I mean, I like them. I prefer them deep fried, but whatever.
To each his own. So Grogu, using his Jedi powers, and good on him for this, levitates one of the frogs and is getting ready to pop it into his maw. Luke sees that Grogu is distracted and levitates all the frogs in the swamp marsh place. I don't know why he felt he needed to do that, but whatever. You're a Jedi. You're going to do it. And it's like fine. Okay, that was a little kind of weird, but it's fine. Drops all the frogs, and then he and Grogu have a talk. They're having a walk and a talk.
The walk was adorable.
Yeah, Luke's using his Jedi to move Grogu along a little bit.
Him over, because imagine how long that walk would take.
Oh, well, he's very small legs. So Luke is talking about Yoda, and he's trying to get from Grogu if he remembers anything from his homeworld. And we assume that Grogu is communicating
telepathically
with Luke, like he did with Ahsoka through telepath. The T word. Telepathy. The males here, which was not delivered by a Jedi, but just a regular human mailman. Mm-hmm. So he lays his hand on Grogu's head and says, "I will help you remember." And now we're seeing through Grogu's eyes a long time ago when Order 66 is issued. You're seeing Jedis in front of him getting gunned down by what looks to be the 501st, which was Anakin's battalion of clone troopers. Yep. Not cool. But this is really the last thing that Grogu remembers. Yikes. And Luke basically goes on, the universe is a dangerous place. You need to be trained.
Teach you how to protect yourself.
And so now we go through, I'm not going to call this one the A-Team scene because it wasn't. It was very reminiscent of The Empire Strikes Back. Yeah. Luke wants Grogu to jump, and not just like jump, but
do like Yoda used to do, where he could leap quite a bit using the Force.
Force jump.
A little force jumping. And they brought out the cool circle thing. Love it. A little trainer.
Oh, yes.
The trainer.
So you'll remember from A New Hope, I think that's the only time we saw it. It's the only time I
Luke was
remember seeing
training.
it.
Luke
Was
trained.
when Ben was trying to train, when Obi-Wan was trying to train Luke, and the brief amount of time he actually physically had with him.
Put on the little visor.
The little ball that shoots lasers at you.
Kept getting electrocuted.
To try to get Grogu to work
Use the
on
Force.
his Force. Now, my son, young Jake of the Empire, and I were watching it, and he's like, Luke's shooting at Grogu. I'm like, yeah. What? I guess if something's going to motivate you, getting shot by a laser will be that thing.
I mean, they did it in the jet. To be fair, that's how they train them. They take them when they're little, and they put weapons in their hands and teach them how to defend themselves.
And we see the scene with Luke because he wants showing Grogu how to jump. Luke puts him in a backpack just like he did Yoda, and you do the running scene. And Luke's running and jumping and spinning and doing all his Jedi shit. And it was just that it's Return of the Jedi, except so you're getting the nostalgia bait, but I don't mind so much. Also,
showing the world. Look at the world.
Luke looks so much better in this than he did in that final episode of The Mandalorian, where he kind of had the
people with horrible complexion use those filters, or just chicks who are insecure use those filters from your phone, and it looks like you just got a whited out face, like your face has no wrinkles, no
texture,
no texture. This was as soon as they panned into Luke the very first time, he looked up. You're like, ah, look, it looks like when he was a
he doesn't have those what do they call it? The Valley of the Dolls eyes. They're not the dead eyes. The hair is
very
moving.
alive looking.
Yeah, so I don't know what they did, but it looks really good.
Yeah. It's like
so
he's young again.
No, they did, and remember, so he's 5 years older than not the last time you saw him. Last time you saw him was in Mandalorian. But you're getting, I think, the better aged version of Luke after 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Actually, and even his outfit, his Jedi garb, he wasn't wearing the flappy thing that he wore at the end of Return of the Jedi. It was very reminiscent of what Ben and Anakin wore during the Clone Wars. Not robed, but just the undergarments.
It's like a two-piece flight suit.
Yes. So anyway, I just wanted to really just how much of an improvement the de-aging of Luke was, and that makes me hopeful for other projects that are out there. So now we go back to Mando, who's sleeping, I believe.
He'll take a little nappy.
He's taking a Mando nap on the bench that the ant things built for him. And Ahsoka Tano shows up, once again played by Rosario Dawson. And I was really happy to see her. I certainly didn't expect her.
To see her. Yeah.
Though, given how few Jedi are left, it's not surprising they find each other.
Whatever planet they're on, she could be hanging out on the other side, and she's not involved in his training. So,
but it was. I liked their interactions. Anyway, I digress. I'm ahead of myself, but that's not really digressing. It doesn't matter. She and Mando are having a conversation about Grogu.
Why he's there?
Because she knows Mando wants to see Grogu, who I think Mando feels almost like it's his child.
It's his duty because he's a foundling.
He's the foundling. And he has the armor that he wants to give to Grogu. But Ahsoka, being wise, remember, she's much older than Luke is. She's younger than Vader, older than Luke. So put that where it is. She's probably, betting man, a good 10 to 15 years older than Luke. That seemed about
possibly
right.
20.
Possibly. Because when the Clone Wars ended, my timeline is not straight in my head. Anyway, she's older than Luke by a good chunk. So she's relaying to Mando that he really shouldn't see Grogu.
Why are you here? Is it for you or is it for him?
And Mando is like, well, he's my foundling. I need to give him his armor. To which she responds,
is he a foundling or is he a Padawan?
It's a huge distinction.
Very, very, very distinct.
The Mandalorian life and the Jedi life are very different things. The Mandalorians have their armor. They have each other. and their way of life is
Very family oriented, very bonded.
whereas the Jedi,
A very monk in a mountain cave kind of people.
you detach from things and people. Hence, that's why they're not supposed to marry. They're supposed to be able to focus entirely on what they need to focus on. And we saw what happens when that goes bad.
I think when it goes bad, it goes
Really
very
bad.
bad.
And that's
once
Anakin.
they're trained.
Anakin was that example. So, as much as he hates to do it, and he can see Luke in the distance with Grogu, and you can tell his heart's just getting ripped out. He gives the armor to Ahsoka to give to Grogu. And then he gets in the ship and he flies off. And this is the scene that really tugs at your heart. Grogu sees it and he reaches out, knowing that was his friend.
He felt him because the ship wasn't the same. He knew he was there.
And it's a sad kind of scene, that loss. And Grogu is still he's old but not. That's because that's the way that species, whose name I don't actually know what they are.
Don't even know.
The Yoda-like folk age very slowly. So he's like 50 years old or so.
But he's like 5.
But he still has a much childlike ways. So anyway, Mando returns to Tatooine, and he meets up with Boba and Fennec and their ragtag gang of folk. At the meeting, aside from Boba and Fennec, we have Chrysanthemum, the Wookiee, the pig people, and
the Vespa gang.
Still my least favorite characters on the show. And they're talking strategy. Basically the gangs are just willing to let the Pikes roll in and do their thing. And they know they don't have the muscle to do anything, Boba Fett and friends. But they do have tacticians. They have the Mandalorian. They have Chrysanthemum, they know how to plan the fight, but you need to have someone to execute the fight.
You got to have the grunts. You need some foot shoulders.
They need muscle, and they don't have it. But so Mando's like, I think I know where I can get that. And he goes back to see his old friend, Marshal Vanth, whom he saved from a dragon in a larger incident. The dragon was trying to eat the town and
train the people how you do it. People were very helpful.
And the Mandalorian was that was his baby. So they have that relationship. And Mando goes to him. He's like, look, I got this freaking problem, dude. And the Marshal's like, well, I don't really see it as being my problem. Doesn't want to be involved. It's not his town. It's not his problem. Though he's already had a run-in with the Pikes, and they had to put 3 of them down. So basically, it's an I'll think about it kind of situation.
He knows they're coming that way.
So Mando flies off. He's like, well, I don't know how well that went, but the Marshal, he's working on his head, and I think he just didn't want to have this talk with his people in front of Mando. Yeah. Whereas you don't want to see the sausage made, so to speak, and that would have been this, and he just didn't want Mando there for it. So he tells his deputy to get all the
fighting age men and women to come to the town for a meeting.
And while we're waiting for them to show up, a mysterious figure appears on the horizon. Yes. The good, the bad, and the ugly theme could have been playing in the background, and it would have been perfect. The dust is blowing, and
the sun's behind him.
As he approaches, you see that it is Cad Bane, the bounty hunter from the Clone Wars and from the Bad Batch.
Distinct brimmed hat, can't miss it.
Yes, as soon as you see it, it's like, oh my God, it's Cad Bane.
I know.
And still not a good guy. He is working for the Pike Syndicate. And he offers the Marshal
he'll pay him double to just ignore all that.
Look the other way and let the spice go through. Well, the Marshal's not having any of that. He declines. At which point, Cad Bane tells him he really wish he'd taken the deal and displays his firearm. And now we are...
Definitely at high noon. We're at high noon time.
Yes. The gunslinger to gunslinger. And the tension in this scene is very good. It's building. You're waiting for one or the other to draw.
And then comes the dumb deputy.
The deputy kind of screws everything up.
Because poor Marshall's trying to watch dummy over here.
And
the killer in front of him and figure out
so,
how to save everyone.
While Marshall's trying to keep an eye on the deputy, also Cad Bane draws. And this doesn't go well for the good guys. It goes worse for the deputy.
The dumb deputy did draw first and thought he was going to be the most ruthless bounty hunter in the world.
So,
or world.
This scene doesn't end well for the good guys. But, I mean, will it draw the town into the fight?
And the sheriff may have lived. He only got shot once.
Mm-hmm.
Although the deputy, he pretty much got unloaded on, so
that
guy's gone.
Yeah, he got several shots. So, and I loved everything about this scene. The look of it, the soundtrack, the way it was shot, the interaction between the characters. This was classic Old West stuff.
Totally.
And it just felt very cool. Now we are back to Luke and Grogu. Luke offers Grogu a choice. The armor that the Mandalorian brought for him, or
the world's cutest lightsaber,
Master Yoda's tiny lightsaber. So now the choice comes with consequences. Thank you. If he takes the armor, he will go back to the Mandalorian, but he will never be a Jedi. If he takes the lightsaber, he'll be trained as a Jedi, which will take many years, and he will very likely never see his friend again. Screen goes black. That's the end. That's the cliffhanger.
What would the poor baby do?
What will... I honestly don't think Grogu is capable of handling a lightsaber at this point.
I don't think he's capable. What is he going to do with that chainmail?
He can wear it around.
What, underneath
look
his cute
solid.
Look under his cute little robe, like under it. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
We haven't even seen his feet yet. Like they keep it like it's like those little pouches you put in babies, like the onesie.
Oh yeah.
The little pouch with the end where the little feet don't come out.
Yep,
Because
true.
even when he was doing his little flips through the rocks, trying not to get zapped.
Oh, you're right.
You never saw his feet.
So what's he going to do? That's the choice we're left with at the end of the episode. And so what I liked about both the last episode and this episode is there are finally stakes.
Oh yeah.
The Pikes have actually demonstrated themselves as a real threat now. Mm-hmm. They're not just the weird fish people who are kind of in the background. Maybe they're doing something. They're a real threat.
Oh yeah, they're making moves.
Mando, the presence of Luke Skywalker, Cad Bane, they all bring a much needed gravity to the series. Yeah. It's a whole different show now from episode 5 and episode 6.
You could just erase 1 through 4 and just pretend like they didn't exist. Maybe keep 1 just so you're like, we have a setting. This is what happened. So we know how Boba got out of the
Sarlacc pit.
Yeah, so we have to know that. But after that, 2, 3, and 4, just
because we've discussed before.
Put those in the recycle bin.
We had problems with the pacing of episode 1 and 2. There were some story elements that you kind of needed to establish, but it was just so.
3 and 4.
It was slow,
painful,
and there was just a lot of just sloppy things that shouldn't have happened in the fight scenes. The ambush scene from what was that? The Assassin Guild.
Oh, little assassin guys.
I don't remember what they were called. You know why? Because it doesn't really matter. But really it was a poorly written fight scene, and the episode 2, the pacing didn't get better, and that was a bit of an alarm. Then episode 3 brought us the Vespa Gang, and that was horrible. I was giving up then. Then episode 4, we
fell asleep.
We fell asleep.
Literally.
Yeah, it was that
Was that bad?
slow. If you ever want to see a 20-minute bantha ride, episode 4 is your thing. So you can, like I said, start with episode 5. You can just pretend the other ones don't exist. You can catch up pretty easy on what's going on.
Just maybe watch one, then skip to 5.
So, and again though, but if you're watching this, you probably have seen them all, and you just want to see if someone agrees or disagrees with the way you're thinking about the series. But I'm hoping they keep going this route. I'm hoping, based on the end of this episode, we're going to see Grogu again. I assume we will. I'd love to see Luke get in the fight.
I'd like to see Ahsoka join.
And Ahsoka would be fantastic. Getting the Jedi's doing Jedi shit.
We did forget about the very last part though. Big part of the scene. That canister that the jackasses had in the desert when the marshal saw him. That canister ends up with some fish people in the tavern.
Yeah, the one run by Jennifer Beals
goes boom.
Yeah, that which is...
It was an IED. That's what the thing was. It was a giant
And
IED.
remember, that's Boba's territory. And they know that, and that was a clear message. Yeah, they blew up, I think it was called the Sanctuary, is what the name of her joint was called. They blew it the hell up.
I'm hoping she's alive, because, damn it. But I don't think anyone...
I don't think anybody's getting out of that alive.
I think everything is now a charcoal brick inside there, because that was one heck of an explosion.
And what I also would like to see, and again, this is me just kind of hoping and projecting, is if Luke could get Mando trained up on the use of the Darksaber.
Oh, absolutely. We were talking, wouldn't that be awesome if Mando becomes kind of like a Jedi student?
Because remember,
in the new Jedi school.
It is not unheard of to have a Mandalorian Jedi. That's how the Darksaber came into existence.
Hasn't been one since. So
and Mando really needs to work on his form.
He really needs to talk because, last time he played with it, he hurt himself.
Yeah, ideally he's not going to hack off a limb. So seeing Luke train Mando on that would be cool. Mm-hmm. And I think what a lot of this, we still have season 3 of Mandalorian coming up. And obviously some of this is going to have to be crossover.
Yeah, they're going to be
and Mando's redemption story for taking off his helmet to bathe in the waters of the mines of Mandalore. And that's going to be a thing because Mandalore, as we have mentioned before, has been desolated in the purge of Mandalore. So that's where we are with this. It was a solid episode. I'm really excited and nervous about the next episode, based on the uneven writing of the show. If they can keep the path they've been on, though,
hey,
we're golden.
I'm hoping that the whole blowing up something on his territory and killing all those people under his protection will bring the Mandalorian part of Boba Fett back out. His balls should be tightly intact.
Yes, in fact, if we could see this
guy
have you seen Boba Fett?
Have you seen this guy?
Because
we would like him.
We haven't seen Boba Fett.
To go kill a whole bunch of people.
We've seen an old man crawl out of a Sarlacc pit and continually get his ass kicked for 4 episodes. He's all healed up now. Give him back his balls.
We're hoping he got some proper motivation this last round.
So, anything else, or?
That's it. That's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us again this week. Please like and subscribe. This has been Roman of the Empire with co-host Wendy. Signing off. Be kind.